Thanks for tuning in. Hi, I'm Beth Keener from HXGN TV. Most road service technicians are mobile and still work off of paper work orders. Imagine the room for errors and the delay in invoicing customers. Well, our guest today uses Xalt to solve this very problem. Today we have Chris Shields, who's Vice President of Product Support from Hugg Equipment with us to discuss how they're using this technology to streamline their operations. Chris, we appreciate you being with us today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's get started. Tell us a little bit about your company and the role you play there.
Sure, so we're a forklift distributor. So we sell forklifts for brands like Toyota, Crown. We also distribute Volvo construction equipment. And with that comes a responsibility to support that sale with parts and service. And I'm responsible for supporting that equipment with parts and service. We cover kind of a 3-state region: Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana.
So you're saying there's a lot of room for error there?
A lot of room for error and a lot of ground to cover. All 3 of those states are rural states, and we are based, or our hub operations are in the primary metro areas, but we have to support communities hours away from those hub dealerships.
Well, what would you say are some typical challenges that your organization faces?
Well, the paper work order was perhaps the most significant. We have 200-something technicians that may be based an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the hub, and facilitating paper work order systems required FedExing those work orders.
I was going to say the travel.
Faxing those work orders, mailing those work orders back to the office so that the equipment repair descriptions, time, billing, payroll could all be facilitated back at the shop. And so that has been by far one of our biggest challenges in improving the efficiency of our product support business and increasing the speed of our invoicing to our customers.
So tell us why you chose Xalt.
Well, we chose Xalt because fundamentally it was a customizable solution for us. We, frankly, had been looking at digitizing our work order system for probably close to the last 10 years. Our ERP system had a solution, but it was very clunky, unintuitive. The user interface was basically going to require our technicians to play a service admin role, and was going to pull time away from wrench time, actual repair time. And so we expanded our search outside of our ERP, and we looked at a GE product called ServiceMax, and we looked at an Oracle solution. After looking at both of those solutions, Xalt's sales arm, frankly, was very tenacious. And they were staying close, and they were working every angle to get into the organization. And after kind of exploring those solutions, we thought, their sales force ultimately got to our IT department, and they said, hey, I really think you guys should take a look at these guys. So we slowed down, took a time out, and we were about to go the Oracle solution. But fundamentally, we invited Xalt in to teach us about their product. And I mean, it was almost instantaneous that we knew this was the angle to go. Like our ERP, the ServiceMax option, the Oracle option was a typical out-of-the-box solution that was going to require we kind of change our processes and procedures to fit their model. They also didn't fundamentally address really our fundamental, and that was taking paper out of the system.
Right.
They had solutions that were based on intelligent dispatching by identifying the qualifications of a technician and matching it with the job, and all that was really good, sizzle. But we kept coming back to saying, we really just need to digitize our work order.
Yeah, we just need the problem solved, even though that sounds great.
This is the problem we're trying to solve, and we don't see that in your solution. We immediately saw that in Xalt's solution, and so that was our fundamental driver.
Right.
But it I would say even beyond that, what else made it so attractive was you could almost instantly see beyond the paper work order what other problems this was going to allow us to solve. And so we were like, wow, we've got something that frankly was much more affordable. It was a much better value proposition in terms of just the hard costs of the solution. But then when you looked at its overall capabilities and how it was going to be able to expand outside of our just digitizing of the work order, we were sold.
I love that. See, that was very informative, and I know our viewers are going to love hearing that explanation. And you may have touched on this a little bit, but how are you using Xalt?
Well, so we're predominantly today using it in our service business to now not just facilitate a digital work order, but it's how we assign jobs to our technicians in the field. It's how we're communicating. It's basically giving our technicians on-demand access to maintenance history of the machines that they're working on. And I would just stop for a minute there and say that has been profound and quickly allowed for adoption to a workforce that we were worried about whether they were going to embrace a tablet versus paper, as silly as that might sound, a software.
Well, let me tell you, I
solution.
still use a paper agenda. I mean, I
Sure.
love paper, but I could imagine not having all of that clutter when you're traveling so far, right? And just having
Absolutely.
everything in one place.
Sure. But when they saw that they had maintenance history on demand, that was phenomenal. So now our mobile field work order solution is beyond just recording time on the work order or recording repair information on the work order. We're using it in a variety of ways to help our technicians do the work they're out there to do. But we've since expanded that now into our parts department. Our parts department is the primary support mechanism of our repair business. And so having a very well-ran parts organization ultimately translates into a very high quality of service through our repair department. So we're using it today to improve the efficiencies of our parts warehousing processes, daily cycle counts, receiving tasks. We have a parts requisition system built in where our technicians in the field can requisition parts digitally that are fed straight into our parts system that is significantly speeding up our ability to get parts out into the field.
Yeah.
And that has also just been phenomenal. So we're using it in our parts department today to help support our service department. And then we also have a product support sales team who is out there just working with our customers on all of their parts or service, issues, and trying to gain new repair customers and things like that. So we have now expanded into developing a CRM, kind of a CRM light for our product support sales people. And again, what's really nice about that, we've looked at organizations like Salesforce and some other big names, and not going to knock them. I mean, they're top of the pile when it comes to CRMs. But again, this is just allowing us to crawl before we walk
right.
before we run, and when you've never really had something like that before, and you're trying to get people who've never used something like that before, being able to provide them somewhat of a simplified CRM system, and then be able to grow that on demand, on your own schedule, the way you want it. Again, I would just say is really powerful.
So it's not how are you using Xalt, it's how are you not using Xalt at this point?
No, exactly, and we've really just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
My team is just incredibly excited
Good.
About the opportunities we have ahead of us.
That's excellent. Well, how else are you planning on it? Which again, I feel like you've touched on, but as you were saying, I mean, it sounds like you've crawled to walk, but now you're walking to run. So what's next?
Sure. Well, we have a tremendous opportunity still to, I think, bring Xalt solutions into our parts operation. We house, 35,000 SKUs in our parts department, 400,000 something items.
Holy
We're turning
smokes.
that 5-6 times a year. So we have a tremendous amount of activity that goes through our parts department, and the processes that we have in place there today are just all driven by our ERP. And our ERP is really good, and I apologize if I end up just kind of getting off the rails a little bit, but our ERP is really good at being a database, but it is not a good user interface. And so I'm looking to streamline. My whole mantra with Xalt is to improve the speed and accuracy of everything we do, every process that we have. And it's really exciting to be able to evaluate every process we have and know that you've got a solution that can make it faster
Right.
and more accurate by making the user interface more intuitive. So we're going to do that in our parts department more. We have a lot of opportunity to engage our customers with applications, and so we're exploring essentially kind of a customer app that we will build and put out on the iOS store, Apple store, Google store, so those that may be somewhat generic in general, but we see a lot of opportunity.
It sounds like it. And Chris, you've been amazingly informative, actually. I mean, honestly, sitting down with you to talk about Xalt, I'm sure it's lighting up our audience out there who may be needing something just like what you've been using. So
Sure.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely.
And if you'd like more information about today's topic, visit www.hexagonexalt.com. You can watch additional episodes or learn more by visiting hxgnspotlight.com as well. And thank you for tuning in.